Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all in F6 Online Sport and Assignments tutorial for week 6. I am Zubair Zak from APS Chaktamni. The grade is 8th and subject is biology. You must have following book, basic stationery and gadgets. Contents include day-wise breakup, objectives, study of malaria. Recipe is chapter number 2, solving a biological problem. Objective is at the end of this week you would be able to understand about the study of malaria as major biological problem by using biological method from textbook pages 23 to 24. Now it's time to discuss the task 1, that is about study of malaria, an example of biological method. So I will talk about history. In ancient time, more than 2000 years ago, physicians were familiar with malaria, a disease of chills and fever with recurring attacks. So, the Italian words mala means bad and aria means air. What does malaria mean? The word malaria comes from the Italian mala and area, meaning bad air. When the term was coined, it was commonly believed that malaria was caused by breathing in bad air. Now I will discuss about the ancient belief about malaria. This disease was more common among people living in low, marshy areas. It was thought that the stagnant water of marshes poisoned the air, and as a result of breathing in this bad air, people got malaria. This belief led to the name of this disease. For further clarification of observation, some volunteers drank stagnant water from the marshes. They did not develop malaria. Medicine for treating malaria. In 17th century, when America was discovered, many plants from America were sent back to Europe to be used as medicines. The bark of a tree known as quinquina was very suitable for curing fevers. It was so beneficial that soon it was impossible to carry enough bark to Europe. Some dishonest merchants began to substitute the bark of another tree, cinchona, which was closely resembling to quinquina, and this dishonesty proved much valuable for mankind. Cinchona bark was found to be very excellent for treating malaria. We know that the reason cinchona bark contains quinine that is effective in treating this disease. At the same time, physicians treated malaria with cinchona without understanding the cause of malaria. 200 years later, it was found that some diseases are caused by tiny living organisms. After this discovery, it also became a belief that malaria too might be caused by some microorganisms. In 1878, Lebrun began to search for the cause of malaria. He took a small amount of blood from a malarial patient and examined it under microscope. He noticed some tiny living creatures. His discovery was not believed by other scientists. 2 years later, another physician saw the same creatures in the blood of another malarial patient. 3 years later, after the second discovery, the same creatures were observed for third time. The organism was given a name, Plasmodium. In the last part of 19th century, many different causes of malaria were being suggested. By that time, there were four major observations about malaria. Malaria and marshy places have some relation. Quinine is effective drug for treating malaria. Drinking water of marshes does not cause malaria. Plasmodium is seen in the blood of malarial patient. We know that a scientist uses whatever information and observation he has and makes one or more hypotheses. The hypothesis made in this case was Plasmodium is the cause of malaria. One of the deductions from the above hypothesis was if Plasmodium is the cause of malaria, then all persons ill with malaria should have Plasmodium in their blood. The next step was to test the deduction through experiments which were designed as blood of 100 malarial patients was examined under microscope for the purpose of having a control group. The blood of 100 healthy persons was also examined under microscope. The results of experiments showed that almost all malarial patients had Plasmodium in their blood, while 7 out of 100 healthy persons also had Plasmodium in their blood. Now we know that Plasmodium in the blood of healthy people was incubation period. And incubation period is the period between the entry of parasite in host and the appearance of symptoms. Nowadays, people with COVID-19 generally develop signs and symptoms including mild respiratory systems and fever on an average of 5 to 6 days after contracting the virus. So it is incubation period. And the results were quite convincing and proved that the hypothesis Plasmodium is the cause of malaria was true. Now it's time to share the home tasks for the day 1 that are reading and memorizing the significant concepts from textbook pages 23 to 24. What is the meaning of malaria and why it was considered as major biological problem? Write about quinine and cinchona in treatment of malaria. What was Lavren's experiment when Plasmodium was observed in the blood of malarial patient? Write the observation, hypothesis, deduction and experiments for study of malaria. What is incubation period? Day 1 tasks completed. Alhamdulillah. Thank you and have a nice day.